It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly. So let's realign, just listen and fill your mind.
Hey guys, how is it going? And welcome to the Morning Star Drive on 117.8. It is Tuesday, March 12th, and so happy for you joining us. We are ready to start another day together with the Lord. So subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on SoundCloud, and make sure to support us on Patreon. So today we have an exciting podcast for you. We have Provi in the media, the practical word study, and of course commentaries, updates, and news on what is happening around the world in this history today. All right, everyone, how are you doing and how was your Monday? Yes, the first day of the week is officially over. The hardest day just to get started, and now we are in the meat of the week, and hope you guys have enjoyed everything thus far. Don't forget, we have Q&A Thursday every week, so get those questions ready. Send them to me whenever you can, and if you haven't yet, leave a like and comment to build our community. Just super happy for everyone joining us every weekday on the Morning Star Drive. So let's get up and support each other each and every day. Now, Sunday message this week is, it's not possible to live fully accommodating people's hearts. So interestingly, today I actually got this new notification on my MSD channel, and they said, congratulations, you have hit 250,000 views on this channel. So I'm just like, isn't that amazing, guys? We have over 250,000 views on this channel, which is awesome. Right? So we've been doing this for almost 4 years now. Once we hit 316, which is in 4 days, that's going to be our anniversary for MSD, and that's going to be 4 years, right? Because 2020, yeah, it's going to be exactly 4 years, and we're going to hit 250. 1 second. I'm just getting my calculator, right? So I know this is something that's quite interesting. So it's like in 4 years, it's 250,000. Which means that every year we have 62,500 views, which I think is kind of cool. And if we were to divide that, that's averaging about 171 views a day, which for me is awesome, right? Because remember, when we first started this, we're averaging anywhere from 30 to 50 views a day, which means that it's kind of, even right now, we're looking at over 200 views a day per episode right now, which is cool and awesome, and I'm so thankful. So everyone, yes, we've hit another milestone, 250,000 views on this channel. I am so thankful and grateful for everyone, especially to the Holy Trinity and for Sunstein for all the amazing inspirations they've given for this channel. So tonight, guys, remember, it's Tuesday. Tonight, what's happening is the Rebel Pastor live stream begins tonight, right? I changed some of the graphics on the page, getting ready for the live stream tonight. I'm really, really excited to get this going. Super happy about this, that it's actually going to start again. You know what? I'm going to say it took me long enough because I got way too lethargic on it. Like, for instance, one of the good reasons why I stopped going onto that channel is because of the Spiritual Oppenheimer, and we focused a lot on this for this MSD channel, which makes sense. But I should have started this a lot earlier than it is right now. So I feel like it was way too long in the making, but I'm so thankful we actually set the date. So today I am going to get my hair cut before the live stream, so let's go. All right. The worst part was, this is one of the worst parts. Last week, I got these 2 huge pimples on my chin, like huge. You can see them from far away kind of thing. And I was like going, oh no. And, every day you're trying to work on it. You're putting pimple cream and stuff. And then I'm like, God, is my first live stream going to have these 2 huge pimples? Like, oh, what am I going to do, right? So I thought it was going to still be seen during the live stream. But as of right now, they have very, very much calmed down. So I am thankful that God is helping me with these 2 pimples on my chin, because I'm like, do I really want the first podcast to be like this, for me to look like this? So, yeah, I'm actually kind of. There's just so many things to talk about, and of course, I said I do want to talk about John the Baptist to start things off with a bang. But I was doing lecture training on 3 divisions, and I was inspired by that. And then I did the fall. I'm inspired by, there's so many things I'm inspired by, really. And I'm like going, what? Should I do this? And every time I hear the Sunday message, I'm like, whoa, that's a great point Sunsi made. So, yeah, so, I thought to myself, you know what? I should just do a little bit of both. Right? Start off with something that's a little bit like a 3 divisions kind of thing, and then kind of keep moving forward. Right? So I think I might do a bit of both. A little bit on 3 divisions, and then moving into the John the Baptist lecture, like not the lecture itself, but questions and stuff, like re-looking at the case of John the Baptist, and is he really a good guy kind of thing, right? And look at all the evidence that we have. So yeah. But since it's a podcast now, it's more of a freestyle podcast. I think it's going to be a lot easier where I can delve into certain things that I might not be able to, get into before, because when I was doing the videos before, they were carefully curated, very highly edited, and it had to talk about a specific topic, and I had to finish it within 7 to 10 minutes. So you can't veer off topic, you're just going straight. But now that we have this podcast, it becomes a little bit different, because now I'm able to kind of look at it and say, you know what, I'm a little bit more free to do these things, and it's going to be live. So I hope it's something that we will all be able to really, that I think I need some time to get used to it, but I think I will be, I think it's going to be really fun. So I'm excited. I'm super excited about tonight, right? New beginning. Let's see how it goes. And everyone, let's try to push this algorithm together. So what I'm saying is, to push this algorithm together, please, guys, if you're out there, whatever time zone, if you're in LA, it's 5 a.m. when Sunday service starts, can you just turn it on? You could turn all the audio off, right? So it's pre-dawn service. It's going to be 7 a.m. in Mountain Time or Houston, 8 a.m. in New York. In Europe, it's going to be all different times around the world. But if you guys can kind of help just to get this algorithm to push me out, make sure once it starts, click the like button, leave a small comment. Even if it hasn't even started, just leave a comment, right? And if you guys can do that, that would really, really help to push the algorithm out too. Those of you guys in Southeast Asia, in Asian countries, Japan, Korea, stuff like that too, go ahead, turn it on. You guys can watch it. It's going to be a little bit more free. But of course, in Korea, it's going to be 10 p.m., which is very, very late for you guys. But technically speaking, for younger people, it's not really that late. But if you could turn that on, that would be great too. That would be very awesome and great, okay? So, that is something that I'm very much looking forward to. So, I had a great conversation with a friend, and it was a kind of about the what was it? The news I brought out yesterday. Remember I told you guys that story about my friends who are stars that decide to get married and stuff like that too. And the question that comes up, and I think this is a very, very important thing, why I bring these things up, right? So, why am I sharing about these things? Because it is possible that some people can get influenced. And it's true. People can get influenced by it. I understand that. And my answer to that is this. If we never hear about what is happening, especially the bad things, then what happens is we become sheltered, and it actually weakens our hearts. Right? And then, all of a sudden we have this view of providence is that everything is perfect in providence. And what happens is just kind of like a sheltered child, like a bubble child, they become really weak and they get affected by every small thing that happens, right? And I would say that, yeah, especially when you're raising children, one of the big things that they need to learn is adversity. They need to learn to go through difficulty. They need to have that resilience to bounce back even though bad things happen. They need to learn how to lose. And this is kind of the reality of life itself. Or else what's going to happen is, if we're so weak in our hearts and we don't hear anything that is bad, then every time there's bad news, people get so, they're so influenced and hurt by it. And they're like, oh, and their hearts are weak. So let me give you an example, guys. Last year, we had the spiritual Oppenheimer, but let's just pretend that there was no podcast last year and everyone is just trying to figure out what the heck is going on, and then the countries or the leaders are not telling you what's going on. One of the reasons, remember guys, one of the reasons why I started this podcast is for transparency, right? Transparency in the things that we should know, right? Or the things that are public knowledge already, but we're not hearing. And people were telling me they were so thankful that they knew last year's situation more clearly, right? Now, here's the thing. What if there was no news whatsoever, right? Then how would we have handled it? How, like, when the news, like, imagine we hear about the news at the end of the year, like, oh my gosh, KJS, then people would freak out and it would be so crazy, right? Think about this. Are we worse off now because we knew all the information from the spiritual Oppenheimer? And are we worse off now, or are we better off for knowing those things? Yes, we were shocked. Yes, we went through some heartache and difficulties inside, and we were like trying to deal with it, right? But if you look at all of us now who are here after 2023 has ended, we're not influenced. We're thankful. We became stronger. We're moving forward. And when more difficult things come, we're like, no, we've been through worse than this last year. We're fine with it. And we move forward, right? And I think it's something that we look at and say, yeah, this is what's making us stronger, is because we're dealing with life as it comes to us, right? And for me, yeah, I myself, I am transparent. I am honest, right? I'm transparent as much as I can be. Of course, there are some personal things that I don't want to bring up, like of other people, obviously, because it's a personal thing. I don't want people to go, their personal things to come out. And that's also why I don't say names, right? I don't want people to feel bad and stuff, right? But I am transparent, and I'll do my best to be as honest as possible, right? Which means that I really feel we need to hear the good, and we also need to hear the bad, and we need to deal with it in our hearts and our minds, and we need to grow stronger because of it, right? Then when the time comes, when these things happen in our churches, like imagine, like the news I give to you are things that happen in Korea and sometimes in other countries, right? And, it may not be happening in your country, but that's okay. Because when you hear these things are happening, we're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. But you're dealing with it inside. And as you deal with it, when these things happen in your countries, in your churches, you are better able to handle it. You're not going to freak out. You're not going to be so emotional about it either, but you'll be like, yep, I've heard of these things happening before, right? This is just kind of what life is going to be like as Providence grows throughout, right? If someone thinks that Providence is perfect, then they're delusional. Right? Because Providence is not perfect. We are in process of trying to become better and more complete and perfect with time. But we're not going to be perfect. We have imperfect humans that are inside this history. Then we're going to make mistakes, and we're going to do things that may not be right, and things that are bigger mistakes too. And we're going to have to deal with them as we go along. And 2023, yes, it was huge. A lot of bad and terrible things happened, but as we learned about it, and as we heard about these things, and as we were calm in our nature in how to handle it and moving forward, what happens? Then we're like, I've been through this before. And, when I was talking to my friend, like, they brought up a good point saying, yeah, once we hear enough of something, we become numb to it, right? And I think the proper term, instead of using the word numb, but I think numb is still right. Like, we become numb to it, meaning that we are used to it kind of thing. Like, yeah, it doesn't affect me as it did before. And I would say the better way to say, instead of saying we got numb to it, I think a better way to look at it is to say that we became stronger and can handle it better. Right? I think that's something that's kind of the better way. It's like, yeah, we've been through this before. Actually, we've been through worse. Like, whatever happens in the future, like, let's just say that Sunseem does go back to prison. He gets convicted again. It's not like it's not like we've never had this experience before. We have. We've dealt with it. Right? People went through many things in their hearts and their minds thinking, oh, what just happened? What happened here? What happened there? We've been through it, where Sunseem was there for 10 years before, right? And since we've been through it, the way that our mind deals with it, because we've already been through it, we have a checklist of things in our mind. It's like, oh, we've been through this. Oh, yeah, this is going to happen. Okay, I'm ready for this too, and I'm ready for this. And I think this is one of the things that we have to kind of look at ourselves and say, you know what? Yeah, we've been through this. We really, really have. And, we understand what's going on, and we know what is right, and we understand what is the proper history, so we're fine with it, right? We can still move forward with this too. And I hope that this is something that that MSD can bring to you guys, is this transparency, and we are able to kind of help people to, not just hear the bad news, but like I said, we always go through these mental exercises. We always go through this, okay, what should we do next? And it kind of helps us to kind of deal with it and move forward, and what are the next steps that we need to do, instead of just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. And the answer is, it happened. And you know what? It does happen, right? Does divorce happen in Providence? Absolutely. Now, does it happen as commonly as the world? Absolutely not. Not even close, right? Like, I'm not sure about other countries, but our country's pretty close to America, where right now it's a 52% divorce rate. I'm pretty sure that other countries that are becoming more and more advanced are going to be much closer to the 50% mark. Canada's very close too, is 50%, right? Do you think Providence is at 50%? And the answer is absolutely not. It's nothing close to it. Nothing close to it, right? So one thing you'll understand about Providence is, we have people who are striving for excellence. We have people who are trying to become better. We have people who are trying to follow God's will. We have people that are listening to the words of God, praying every day, trying to figure out what is the best thing that God wants for us. Like, these are all things that we have to think about and say, oh, this is true. This makes more sense, right? And I hope it's something that all of us can really push ourselves to that next level and say, okay, these are the things that are common. Do you think no one in Providence has cancer? Do you think no one in Providence has ever died from cancer? That's like saying that in Christianity, everything is like perfect in Christianity because, Jesus is the Messiah. They all believe in it. So what? Are you saying in Christianity, no one died from cancer? No one had divorces? No one murdered someone? No one became a criminal? No. Remember, even though we're trying to live in the perfect history, we have imperfect people inside a perfect history. What does that mean? It means that we're going to make mistakes because we're imperfect. And we need to be those that really understand is like, for instance, if someone says to me, oh, I'm my family did this to me, my family did, or my friends did this to me, or these certain things happen in your life, we just got to learn a lot how to separate them from God and from this history, right? Like, even if what happened with KJS last year, one thing is, it's like, whoa. How do I, can we separate her from this history? And the answer is absolutely. Because if we know this history deeply and well, we know what this history stands for. We know what the rules are in this history. It doesn't matter who you are. If you break those rules, you have done things outside of this history, meaning you have done things that are not condoned by this history. You have done things that this history does not agree with. So if someone goes outside and starts going outside this, doing things outside of what this history really condones or wants, then what happens is we can say that, oh yeah, that's, this is someone making their personal a personal choice, a personal decision. That's what they decided to do. We know, and I know for the last 26 years in this history, we have never condoned anything that KJS did. We are actually super against it, right? We're against committing the fall. We are against stealing money or those things. We're totally against it. And because we're against it, we know that this is something that is a personal choice that this person has made, right? One thing that one guideline I have for myself is whenever I look at an organization, whenever I look at like a religion or something along that line, to know if it's good or bad, right? To really, really know if it's good or bad, I do not look at the worst of them. I look at the best of them, right? Like when I look at Christianity, what's Christianity supposed to be like? I look at the best, which is Jesus. This is what we're supposed to be like. We're not close to that level, but this is how good Christianity can be. Look at Jesus, right? And along the way, what's going to happen is there's going to be some bad apples. There's going to be some people that come in with the wrong, the wrong intentions and the wrong purposes that are completely against what Jesus wants. And that's going to happen. It doesn't make Christianity bad. Yes, it makes us look bad, but it doesn't make Christianity bad itself. Because we know by looking at Christ, it's not supposed to be this way, right? It's just like, look at any company. When you look at a company, let's just say any company, let's just say Tesla. Tesla's a company, if you look at it, is it a good or bad company? Well, you can't base it only on the people who did bad stuff inside Tesla. Like, for instance, let's just say there's someone bad inside Tesla who is stealing and doing all these bad things, hurting people. But then Tesla says, okay, we fire them because we don't agree with it. Right? It means that this is not what Tesla wants. They completely disagree with this type of person. They don't want this person to be there, right? Well, you can't say all of Tesla is bad because of this one or two people that are in it, right? The company itself can be seen good or bad by their ideals, their goals, what they produce, what they are doing, right? Now, the hard part about me comparing, let's say, Providence or Christianity to, say, a human company like Tesla or Microsoft or whatever it is, even the leaders are imperfect. The leaders are imperfect, and it's not trying to reach, moral and ethical ideals. Like, when you look at a company in the world, we kind of more base them not so much towards the moral and ethical. It's more about how much money they make and what they're worth. And will only become really questionable about these companies is if they do things that are extreme. Extreme meaning they are, they're doing slavery or something along that line. You know what I mean? Or they're into child molestation or whatever it is, right? Something really extreme. Then we're okay, something's wrong with this company. However, we're basing it on what the company is designed for, as long as they don't go too far outside of the moral and ethical rules and laws, right? But when it comes to religion, it's really about morals and ethics, right? It's really about that. And because it's really about morals and ethics and the way that we live, there is a higher standard we have for religion itself. And, we've seen many times, even in Christianity, where pastors and stuff have been... I remember when I was growing up, there was a guy named Jimmy Swaggart. And he was hugely famous, but, he was caught later, someone who went to motels doing drugs and, had prostitutes. Now, does that make Christianity look bad? And the answer is absolutely. Is Christianity bad because of that one person? The answer is absolutely not. They're not bad because of that one person. Yeah, we look at it and say, wow, we need to figure out a way to make sure that these pastors and leaders are not going to be too influenced by money and power. Kind of like what happened last year with KJS and stuff like that too, right? We need to find fail-safes and guidelines and countermeasures so that leaders can focus on the spiritual and they're not going to be so, that they're not going to go into these massive temptations and stuff also. So it is something that, I did fly off a little bit off topic, but I do think it's something that we have to think about. And, I do want people to know what is happening and what is going on so that in the future we can become stronger because of it. And that in the future we'll really, really have that mentality and mindset that we're going to be stronger because of this news. We're going to deal with it better, have the better mental exercises, and we'll be those, even if we're not a pastor, even if we're not a head leader, assistant leader, department leader, whatever it is, but we will have that mental maturity that whenever it happens in our churches, we can still be that person that people can come to and say, hey, what happened here? It's yeah, this did happen. Let's deal with it properly, right? And I hope that we can grow a lot of leaders from MSD. Not saying that we're a leadership channel, but we can grow people so through these mental exercises and through the things that we hear here, so that in the future, when it does happen in your churches, in your countries, at least the 200, 250 of us, 300 of us that are listening here will be able to handle these in a much better way, right? So that's kind of the reason why I do talk about these things, not to, you guys know me and what I am, what I try to accomplish here. One thing I am not doing is I'm not trying to gossip. like you guys know, I'm not saying names. I'm not saying all these different things. It's about, this is what's happening. What can we learn from it? How can we deal with this, right? So I really hope that I don't come off as someone who's trying to gossip all these things, but more of, we're trying to learn from these things and become better from it, right? And yes, everyone, all the women out there, I apologize if I sounded like I was like chauvinistic or yesterday's International Women's Day. And I am very grateful and thankful for those that responded or commented in a polite way to me. I was telling you guys, I was doing a venting or a rant. I was, guys. And I thought it was kind of funny at the time too. But I understand that this can be very important to some people also. And I will apologize that, I was totally not saying that you should not celebrate or like this is a terrible day. I was just saying, guys, that this was my situation and I was venting on what happened in that conversation. Okay? So please accept my apologies. I love women. Oh, that's a bad thing to say on this too. I'm not saying I love women, like here I am getting into trouble now. I appreciate and respect women. All right. And, those of you guys who've been around me, we joke around a lot. And I hope I'm not disrespectful to women and stuff like that too. But yes, I do not want to get myself into any more trouble than I already get myself into already. All right, so please accept my apologies. I am not trying to, maybe it was a little bit too strong yesterday. I don't know, but I'm telling you right now, no one has actually told me anything negative yet. I'm just saying that from the comments I have received so far, because these are people that are close to me, we joke around about it. Like, oh, you're a sexist, you're this. I'm like, I know. I'm sorry, right? I was just ranting and stuff. But yeah, I just want to make sure that people out there, I'm not trying to say that. And someone just told me that in the comments, there's an International Men's Day. Actually, I had a friend, guys call me. They're like going, yeah, we agree with you kind of thing. But like, I had one friend saying, how come... I had a friend, he's hilarious. He's like going, hey, can we have like a International White Male Week? I don't want a month. I just want a week. I don't want a day. Like, even if just an hour would be nice kind of thing. But I thought we were joking on it. It was just trying to be funny and stuff too. But I thought it was hilarious. But yeah, everyone, there actually is, there is an actual International Men's Day, apparently. Did you guys check out in the comment section? Yeah, in the comment section, someone talked about the International Men's Day. Yeah. When was it? Here we go. International Men's Day, which is IMD, November 19th. November 19th is International Men's Day. Yay! Right? International Men's Day. Weird thing is... guys don't care about it. Guys won't even go out and celebrate International Men's Day. That's how weird it is. We're like, well, where's International Men's Day? There's an International Men's Day. Oh, it's November 19th. Oh, and guess what? We're not going to celebrate it. That's just the reality. We're just not going to celebrate it. That's the funny part about it. So I thought, I was just thinking like, it's so weird how guys think. We're so weird. It is. Either way. All right. Today we do have a practical word study and Provi in the media. Hope you guys are going to enjoy this. So let's first get into the music break of the day.
When I look at you, it's like I got the whole room on the tip of my finger, and I'm pointing it right back to you. When I look at you, it's like I got the whole universe, the whole universe. Never thought that living could be easy, so you taught me right from wrong. Now I'm free to be full of love, full of hope. I'm empty of all things. I'm living to make everyone come follow me. This is a life worth living that I know. If I love someone else, what would he give me though? It's like I'm floating on clouds, my feet don't touch the ground. Life with you is like heaven, look at what step to the west, I'll follow behind you step by step. Just like the stars above, we shining, shining. Look at the world, in my hands the universe is mine. It's yours, can't escape from the love, it's yours. It's yours, can't escape from the love, it's yours. Just like the stars above, we shining, shining. Look at the world, in my hands the universe is mine. It's yours, can't escape from the love, it's yours. It's yours, can't escape from the love, it's yours. When I look at you, it's like I got the whole room on the tip of my finger, and I'm pointing it right back to you. When I look at you, it's like I got the whole universe, the whole universe. You said believe in me, don't change, and then you'll see a life that lasts for all eternity. And I will never live to have any regrets. I know you're the best, I'll step to the west, I'll follow behind you step by step. Just like the stars above, we shining, shining. Look at the world, in my hands the universe is mine. It's yours, can't escape from the love, it's yours. It's yours, can't escape from the love, it's yours. Just like the stars above, we shining, shining. Look at the world, in my hands the universe is mine. It's yours, can't escape from the love, it's yours. It's yours, can't escape from the love, it's yours. When I look at you, it's like I got the whole room on the tip of my finger, and I'm pointing it right back to you. When I look at you, it's like I got the whole universe, 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 the whole universe.
All right, so let's get into today's word study. And of course, every Tuesday we have the practical word study and how can we put the words of God into action this week. Now, two things I was really thinking about. And the first one kind of goes with like the overall key point. You know, like the message is about you can't make everyone happy. You can't accommodate everyone's heart, right? So the only way that it can work is if everyone focuses on God, right? Can we accommodate God or not? So the question I bring up is are all of us focused on the right thing, right? So it's like, don't keep trying to accommodate all the people around you. You have to accommodate God instead. And I think that's an interesting question, right? So the big thing is, how the heck do we accommodate God? Right? So first, I'm going to get into what does it mean to accommodate someone, right? What does it mean to accommodate? And I look up in the dictionary, it says a person who is eager, like someone who's accommodating is a person who is eager or willing to help other people. For example, by changing his or her plans, right? So that kind of makes sense. If someone's very accommodating, even though I made plans here, someone says, I want to do this, I'll change my plans and help do that. That basically sounds like someone who's in love with someone, right? But that's what it means to be accommodating, right? So for instance, Sunseem said in the message, there's so many people in the world, in Providence that are different. Their hearts are all different and he can't accommodate everyone. So here's the thing. If we want to be accommodating means to be eager or willing to help other people, even if it means changing our own plans. Which means if someone needs help, someone needs something, then we will change our schedules, we will change what we are doing, and we will make sure to help them and they get the help that they need first. Right? So when I think about this too, I think about like Sunseem's situation also is, it's true, Sunseem can't accommodate every individual. Sunseem has so many things to do, but how many times have you heard people who are like getting these individual letters from Sunseem constantly, like 10 letters here and there, like in a row, and they take so much of Sunseem's time. And they're constantly writing letters back and forth, back and forth. Sunseem is sending these personal letters. It's so personal, right? When we know that Sunseem should really be taking care of the entire group, not a single person, right? Like think about this. Here's Sunseem in charge of like 50,000, 100,000 people in like 60 different countries. And we probably don't fully recognize or understand how thankful and grateful we should be when we get a personal letter. Like, that is something I think that we don't really fully comprehend. Sunsteam is that type of person, and you can tell that he is super accommodating and helping people who are really in need. And the one thing that I find is very interesting is if we really understood the Shimjung, if we really understood what's happening, I think the interesting thing about us is, as in Providence, we think that getting a personal letter or something like that is something we should get or we should want. Like, it's celebrated. Like, we'll see someone getting letters and then we'll get jealous and hope to get letters too. And then we'll get upset because we didn't get a personal letter and someone else did. And then we start to like elevate people because they get more letters than the next person. And someone is better or because they seem closer to Sunsteam because they get more letters. Like, it's so interesting that when we think about it from like a practical point of view, it makes no sense that Sunsteam is doing that. And yet we will hold these people at such a high value on how many letters they get, right? Like, you know, I've heard of some things where, like, for me, I've gotten some letters in my lifetime, right? But, and I don't think it's a bad idea to keep the letters. It's a great thing I keep some of my letters, and some of them I don't want to keep because they're rebukes. But funny thing is, I have my rebuking letters. I don't have the other ones, right? It's so funny, right? But I would definitely not, even though I keep my letters, I wouldn't flaunt them and tell people I got 20 letters. And then, don't you think it would be kind of ridiculous if you had like this many letters, and then let's just say you start printing them out and like, say you're the head leader of the church and you just start, you have like a cork board behind you, an announcement board, and you just start like pinning these letters to that board. And then people walk in and they see all these letters you got from Sunsteam. Like, don't you think that's kind of weird? Like, that's kind of weird. It sounds like insecurity for some sense, or someone looking for a lot of recognition, right? Now, if it's in the privacy of your own home, in your private room, that is something completely different. Like, I think you can do whatever you want in your privacy. Right? That's your private room. Go ahead. Do what you want. That's your private room. But if it's out in the open or you're kind of flaunting it, I think that's something that is, I don't know if that's a very, very good thing to do. Like, I think it's not, it's kind of showing the importance of something that may not be that good. Right? Because honestly, I have some letters that I would never post on the wall. I have some letters from Sunsteam. I'm just like, oh, he's mad, right? And I'd be like, I would never post that on my wall. I'd be like going, I want no one to read that letter, right? So for me, I'm just like, yeah, there's no way anyone's going to be seeing that personal letter from Sunsteam on my wall ever. I will never tell people about it. If anyone ever asks me for like one letter, I'd be like going, yeah, here, take a look at this letter. This is a good one. This is the one that I think that everyone should see, right? Yeah, I think so, right? So, I think we shouldn't be like making that type of culture, Like I think it's not good for people to want these personal, like, I think it's great that you get them, and more power to if you get these letters, but I don't think it should be like a culture where like people are greater or better because of these personal letters. A lot of times people, like Sunsteam has even told everyone, even before KJS was saying the same thing, some people are around Sunsteam because they've done something amazing. And some people are around Sunsteam because they really need that management. They're not doing well. There's two reasons, right? So I think it's something that we got to change that culture around a bit, right? So going back to the practical word study of what does it mean to be accommodating, right? So that's what Sunsteam is, very, very accommodating, but there gets a point where he can't do his mission because he's way too accommodating. So the bigger question that comes up to us now is, how do we become more accommodating to God, right? So we can't make everyone's hearts happy, but the one heart we should make happy is God's heart, right? So here it is. We heard already as an example is to be eager or willing to help other people. For example, by changing our plans or schedules. Okay? So if we think about that example, changing our schedules and changing plans to fit what God wants, I would say the easiest one for us to think about would be, what about the pre-dawn? Right? Because this is one of the easiest plans of God. Right? The one that we all know. It's not easy. It's difficult, right? So in order to accommodate God, to meet with God, to be with God, do we change our plans and schedules to accommodate God? You know what I mean? Like, do we try to sleep earlier? Do we, try to wake up earlier and on time? Do we really try to accommodate God? Right? Because there's so many reasons. Like, one of the reasons, like I said, is people don't get enough sleep. Do we sleep early enough? Do we get up and change our other plans to make sure God's plans are fulfilled? Right? If we're really accommodating to someone we really, really love. Like, I remember when I was in high school, there was a girl I really, really liked, and I wouldn't care what my schedule was. If this girl said she wanted to meet me, I would change everything. Everything that I possibly could. Even with my family, like, oh, I can't make it today. I got to go here. Okay, sorry, Mom. I got to meet someone, right? Like, I would change my schedule to accommodate. Right? So if we have these things that are really late at night where someone says, hey, let's go watch a movie. It's a 10 p.m. movie. Then we have to think about ourselves am I accommodating God or not by doing this? Right? Or am I okay with sleeping just a little bit and then catching up on the sleep the next day, but I really want to accommodate God? Right? Are we the ones making sure that God's plans are fulfilled? Are we accommodating God? Right? Think about services, right? Are you accommodating God with services? Are you accommodating God with the missions that you have in church? Right? Not saying, oh, I can't do it this week. Oh, I have meetings. Oh, I have this. Like, you have to really look at, are you accommodating what God wants in our life? Or, think about this carefully, are we more accommodating what we want? Trying to figure out what I want every day and every moment. Planning things more to accommodate myself. This is what I want. This is what I want to do. Right? So that would be the first thing that I would look at to say is, if we really want to focus on God, if we want this church to flourish, if we want this church to be just so bubbling and the atmosphere is great, there's so much love, what has to happen is everyone have to fulfill and make sure God's heart is doing well, fulfilling what God wants, right? Think about it even to the next step. The next step I would think about is, what about evangelism? What about newcomers? What about members? Right? And the question someone might give to me is, well, how do I accommodate God with these things? Okay. Well, the one thing we know for certain is that God is spirit, but people are not spirit, right? So God needs to work through a body. Do we allow God to work through us as we take care of the people that are around us, from members to newcomers? Do we accommodate God to work through us? Do we allow God? Do we say, yes, God, I will go because I know that I want you to have a body to work with. I will accommodate you. God, you need help. You need a body. Let me be the one that becomes your body and takes care of this person that meets this newcomer. Let me become your body, right? God has a will to fulfill, and we need to be those that fulfill God's heart and accommodate God to work through us, right? So those were that's what I was kind of thinking about, making it more practical this week. The second thing that I was thinking about is a lot of times, God can't work with people whose hearts are wicked or bad, or God, if your heart is not clean, or if your heart is not for God, then it's hard for God to work with you. So the second thing I thought about was, how do we change our hearts then? And of course, the word told us, listen to the word and put it into action. Now, the question I want to give to you guys, and I want to tell you guys right now, is, does this work or not? How does this change the heart by listening to the word and putting it into action? And interestingly, These are two things that literally shape our hearts and change our thoughts. It does. Like, this is something that I was looking in research a long time ago. Like, do actions change our thoughts? Absolutely. Research shows that our actions can influence how we think, right? There was one researcher that shows just body gestures, your body poses, can influence how you think. You know, like you have power poses and weak poses. When you touch your neck, it's the weakest of poses. Even those things can influence your thoughts, just your actions itself. So can actions change your thoughts? Can it change your heart? Absolutely. So that's one thing I'm telling you guys is you might not think it works, but it absolutely works. Even if you don't feel like it, go and do it. Do what God wants. The second thing that really, really affects us is what we listen to. What we listen to affects our thoughts, what comes through our ears. There's been tons of research on the things that we listen to, on the music that we hear, and it can even change our thoughts in that single moment, right? So what we listen to, research shows it does affect our thoughts and our heart. And that's why we need to listen to good things and we need to take action on good things. And these two things will actually change us. One extra thing that as I was researching this that I thought was really cool is one thing that really changes your thoughts. And this is something that we've learned so much from Sunsteam is thankfulness. Being thankful changes your thoughts from negative to positive. Just being thankful changes your outlook, your perception, your view of how you see things. Be thankful. And I think that's something that we have, that's an extra thing that we need to be, right? Actions. Have the actions of the Word of God. Listen to what God wants and be thankful, right? Thankfulness changes your thoughts, which means let's really, really be thankful. Thankful to the Holy Trinity, thankful to God. And let's be those people that can do what the Word of God says. And even though the Word of God is not even telling us about the research, what God is telling us, it's correct. Listen to the words, which is good words, the words of God. Put them into action, and that will change your heart, right? It will literally change your heart. So that's kind of the practical word study that I want to go over today. I hope it's something that you guys learn from too. Okay. Next, we do have Provi in the media, and we have this YouTube video that has a lot more details of the Netflix trial, way more details actually. So I hope that I will post that also. I will make sure I will post that the link for the YouTube channel, and you guys can click on it and leave a comment and a like so that these channels can become more and more viral. Okay. So before we get into that, let's get into the last music break of the day.
Yeah, Providence history represents Sierra Leone, West Africa.
On the mix.
Since the day that I made this history, my spirit became brand new. Thanks be to the Holy Trinity for making my whole life new. And no one said I said the greatest condition for making my whole life new. I just wanna say thank you, thank you. I just wanna say thank you, thank you. Since the day that I made this history, my spirit became brand new. Thanks be to the Holy Trinity for making my whole life new. I'm the one said I said the greatest condition for making my whole life new. I just wanna say thank you, thank you. I just wanna say thank you, thank you. We give thanks and praise to the Holy Trinity and the one sent in this history of providence to empty our thoughts and to receive all the word that is stronger than the rod and sharper than the sword. In the fight is like a battle, like a lion in the jungle, not stopping at the middle, but we'll take it to the ending. The word that will make us fly like an eagle. We are overwhelmed with joy with our body, soul and spirit, cause it's true word of God that is giving us joy. Every night and day we are seeking the Lord. Moreover, taking action resembling the Lord and spreading it in the world. Since the day that I made this history, my spirit became brand new. Thanks be to the Holy Trinity for making my whole life new. I'm the one said I said the greatest condition for making my whole life new. I just wanna say thank you, thank you. I just wanna say thank you, thank you. Since the day that I made this history, my spirit became brand new. Thanks be to the Holy Trinity for making my whole life new. I'm the one that I said the greatest condition for making my whole life new. I just wanna say thank you, thank you. I just wanna say thank you, thank you. I just wanna say thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Just wanna say thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. I just wanna say thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Is your history, is a history, Providence history, came to me like a mystery. Is your history, is a history, Providence history, came to me like a mystery. Since the day that I came to Providence, my spirit became brand new. Thanks be to the Holy Trinity for making my dreams come true. And the ones that I say the greatest condition for making everything new. I just wanna say thank you, thank you. We just wanna say thank you, thank you. Since the day that I made this history, my spirit became brand new. Thanks be to the Holy Trinity for making my whole life new. I'm the one that I said the greatest condition for making my whole life new. I just wanna say thank you, thank you. I just wanna say thank you, thank you. I just wanna say thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Just wanna say thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. I just wanna say thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you.
It's Kimma on the mix.
Okay, so let's get into our final segment for today, which is Provi in the media. And there are a lot of videos and stuff coming up. There's a new channel called Fact Checking Q, right? And that is a channel on YouTube, I think, that you guys can go over. Of course, like they have videos and such, which I think it's a video about what's going on, which I think it's a little bit harder to like take in. Like for the stuff that they bring up, I think it's like a script is needed, but they're doing their best right now. I think it would be great to have like a report or something along that line where people would want to watch it even more. But I understand the situation at this moment. So Provi in the media, they have the second video that came out, and I think is really good because it starts to give you more and more detailed information about the Netflix trial in America. Okay, so it gives you a little bit more information, and I think I'm going to go over some of these points that I think are very, very good. It's almost like the entire thing. It's very, very short. Okay. And I will leave the link in the description so you guys can go onto it, leave a comment, put a like on it so that it kind of spreads further too. All right. So let's go into Provi in the media, and this is going to be a YouTube video, and it's mainly information. So it says, this is a public disclosure of damage complaints to the U.S. District Court of Delaware. And of course, some of you don't know Delaware is a state in northeastern U.S. And the one thing amazing and awesome about Delaware is it is a jurisdiction where you cannot counterclaim. Counterclaim meaning if we lose the trial, they'll make a counterclaim to get more money back or something. You can't do it, which means they can't sue back after we win, which is great. Okay. So the reason why we're making the lawsuit in Delaware is because Netflix is a Delaware corporation, right? And this is why it's going to be conducted in that state, which is awesome for us. Now, it says the plaintiff is Korea CGM Members Association, a nonprofit corporation organized and existing under the laws of the Republic of Korea. And the defendant is Netflix Inc., which is a Delaware corporation. So in the U.S., one thing that's different about America and Korea is all court complaints and documents are generally public, revealing the names and details of individuals without redaction, which is obviously opposite from Korea. And the lawsuit complies only with American law without considering the laws and regulations of Korea. So that's another thing which is good. It's about what is the laws in America. Okay, so what's the complaints for defamation? Number 1, defamation arising from false statements concerning Korea CGM Members Association made by the defendant Netflix in the first 3 episodes of a document series called In the Name of God, A Holy Betrayal, which was first released on March 3rd, 2023. CGM operates as Christian Gospel Mission, a Christian organization which is active in more than 60 countries, including the U.S. Number 2, this action will show that Netflix made a decision with actual malice, knowledge of falsity, and reckless disregard for truth or falsity to portray CGM as a corrupt and criminal organization by making 2 sets of defamatory statements which can be summarized as follows. Okay? So, first, CGM caused, condoned, encouraged, or facilitated its members to procure young women for its leaders' sexual gratification. So there's the first defamatory statement, which we all know is untrue. Second, CGM caused, condoned, encouraged, and facilitated its members to beat, kidnap, threaten, and intimidate persons perceived to be hostile. We all know that this is untrue too, because whenever people leave province or people are against us, we're not talking about kidnapping, beating, or threatening, obviously, right? And in reality, what the lawsuit says is, in reality, CGM never caused or encouraged its members to take such alleged actions. Thus, this lawsuit based firmly on statements of facts which are demonstrably false, right? So that we also in the lawsuit it says this series is a poorly made documentary that is riddled with errors that were intentionally calculated to defame CGM through sensationalist manipulations and false misrepresentations, including faked scenes, fabricated events, sensationalist repetitions, English subtitles that mistranslate the Korean to create an unfavorable impression, an audio track that has been fraudulently altered to create a false meaning, inclusion of footage that a Korean court had ordered should never be shown because it is misleading, blaming a violent kidnapping and a vicious beating on CGM, even though a Korean court had ruled that CGM was not responsible for either, and heavy reliance on a witness, which is KDH, who has multiple convictions, which is 9. Okay? So it also says KDH, he's still claiming that 10,000 people were raped by Sunsoon. He still says he has a documented history of making alleged allegations against CGM and Sunsoon, and then later admitting that they were false and withdrawing them. And they're basing their information a heavy reliance on him, right? So they said in the lawsuit, it says, such misconduct evidences bias, dishonesty, and unethical journalism that is a hallmark of the series. These characteristics of the series are also highly probative of actual malice and provide important context to determine the meaning of the defamatory statements. In future videos, the legal content will be introduced sequentially starting from item 4, along with the accompanying legal documents. Right? So it's very, very amazing that these things are actually, I'm so thankful and grateful in one sense that this is happening in America. And the reason why I'm thankful it's happening in America, because the rules are different and it's strictly about law. And the one thing I would say that I'm even more thankful for is that in America, there is no bias or there's no reason to be on Sunsim's side or not on his side. It's strictly unbiased, right? And the one thing that is actually, I think, is a blessing in America right now is all the news is pointing towards Trump and the elections. People are not, their like political lives or their, these judges, their judgment is not going to affect their future because everything, the only ones that are having their futures affected are the judges that are a part of like the Trump trials and stuff like that too. These are the ones that are more worried. And I think it's a blessing that all the focus is going to be on Trump and the elections, and that when this comes out, it'll be done in a much more fair, unbiased manner, is not done in Korea. And I really hope that all of us can pray for this, like really, really pray for this to work and run well, that it will first be accepted by the Delaware courts. And then after that, once we go through that first obstacle, then the second one, we got to start praying that in the next 2 to 3 months, all the evidence will come out and that Netflix will settle. And not only will they settle, they will cut ties with NBC. They will take off in the name of God, at least episode 1, 2, and 3. They will no longer play the season 2. And I hope that they will also make NBC and these Korean companies pay the fine. And I hope the fine is ridiculous, right, for what they've done. So this is something that I really, really hope that we can we can pray about together. I am super thankful and glad that it's happening in this way, and that we have an amazing and awesome legal team with us too. When the time comes to that we're allowed to talk about the legal team, I will, I'll bring up the names too. But at the moment, I heard we can't say it at the moment yet, right? But I am very, very excited about this. So I hope that you guys will, re-listen to what I just talked about, because there's some amazing facts in there, like a really amazing of facts. Like for instance, this was something that I didn't know, that the video blamed a violent kidnapping and vicious beating on CGM. However, a Korean court already ruled that CGM was not responsible for any of it, right? Like that's something I didn't know, but they put it on even though the court said that, right? I didn't know that there's footage from Netflix that a Korean court ordered should never be shown because it's misleading. I didn't know that either. And I just heard recently from last week about the heavy reliance on KDH. I didn't know that KDH had 9 convictions on him, including threats, pornography, and something else. So, or false allegations, right? So that is something that when I look at, these are like great points that we can bring up to people. It's like, do you think that you would trust someone why would you trust someone like this? Right? So that's some more things going on. Hope it's things that will really open your eyes even more to what is happening and what is going on, and that will really get ourselves to understand much, much better what's happening. Okay? So there it is, guys. That is the Provi in the Media. Hope you guys really enjoyed that. That is today's Tuesday podcast. Have an amazing and awesome day, and we'll see you guys again tomorrow on the Morning Star Drive on 117.8.
It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly, so let's realign. Just listen and fill your mind.
I'm burning with desire and the passion. Nobody can stop me when I'm like this. I got my head in the zone, I'm on the Morning Star Drive, I'm burning with desire and the passion. Nobody can stop me when I'm like